the NPP losing the election, I've told you that the NPP continue to be a sinking enterprise, even in opposition. Because when you go into an election and you lose, one thing people don't realize, if you do deeper political analysis, you come to the realization that when you lose power, you don't just lose power, you lose connection with the people. So you begin to build bridges.
And you reconnect with your lost base.
Build trust.
Yeah.
But they appear to be sitting on high horses. Still same arrogant posture, talking anyhow, without thinking about how to put the machine, the NPP, as a political tool together. Because it's the time for them to be engaging, do a wider consultation. People who angrily left, like Alan. Alan worth a lot of political capital, whichever way you see it. This is the time for the party to do that sober reflection and begin to see how you can amass your strength and build a very potent front. But look at it, they said they are going to elect a flag bearer even before they build the party. So look at this. We are going to, there is an election going on at Ablekuma. Then the party take the issue to court. Then I know that the ruling didn't go in your favor. Then the whole general secretary of the party staged a press conference and told the whole world we are not going to take part in this election.
Under no circumstances will we be intimidated. Under no circumstances will we be coerced to go for a rerun. We will not go for any rerun. The new patriotic party will not go for any rerun.
The general secretary is supposed to be the CEO of the party. And whatever that he says must reflect the collective will of the entire party machinery. Then he does that press conference all over. People have agreed the NPP is not contested. The following day, the contestant is out there campaigning.
You asked me a question. Are you contesting? I'm contesting.
Yeah, and I'm asking because this week we had a press conference here, and the national executive said they are pulling out of that election. That is
nobody is. I am contesting.
In the company of the same party executive, that tells you how fractured the party leadership is. That tells you that the center cannot hold. There is no leadership in the party, and that there is the need to spend time to build the party. You understand? But it's about individual interest trying to impose an individual. So we don't care if the party is fractured or not. So let's go ahead and build. You cannot build a story building in a water lodge area. You understand? And for me, that is the problem. So what happened? They losing the election. That was their own design. That was their own craft. Because this whole thing, they've not figured things out. That is why I told you, sir, they are still living in the 12th century, where we are living in the 21st century. They are still stuck at the 12th. They don't realize the radical change that has happened at the political arena. You need to do things right, see how to reconnect with people, and see that you cannot play on the minds of people when you yourself, the leadership yourself, you are not even competent enough to be trusted with some of these key decisions. You understand? If you are going to election, you go. If you are boycotting, you are boycotting. There is no in between. You understand? But if a general secretary and the leadership will give,
we are not going,
and then other people are there defying, and you have the flag bearer and the other key people also going to support party executive who are supposed to be part of this decision that was made earlier, it tells you the whole thing is disjointed and a sinking entity. That time must be spent to ensure that they put their houses together before any other thing. But because of this high-powered arrogance, inflated ego,
which shocks me, because I would have thought that after the elections, and this is what surprises me, you know, even to come out and say, oh, no, NDC didn't win, we lost.
Election, no, and the NDC no win election, no. Yeah, NPP na lose election.
And then in the next breath, admit that you have over 2 million people who didn't vote.
So social NPP vote, no. We had a decline in our vote, about 4 by 2.1 million relative to 2020. It is 2.1 million.
I would think that the whole concentration now will be how to build the bridges.
Yes.
All those who left, how do we bring them back?
Yes.
But incidentally, it doesn't have any impact on anybody, and you're still riding on high horses, making declarations, further distancing you from the people you are supposed to be bringing in. Your views.
Yeah, I think the spaces are filled with emotions, and reason is no longer a friend of the NPP.
It is very sad.
Yeah, reasoning has left them. So people are just operating at the behest of twisted individual emotions.
Yeah.
Whatever that comes to mind, that will appear to be having that grandstanding position. That is what is appealing to them for now. So if they will avail their mind, if they will avail themselves to reasoning, common sense, and begin to, because you see, if our democracy will be sustainable, we need other structures to be also very potent, to be able to offer that kind of constructive this thing that we desire, because we are building a democracy. We are not building a one-party state. So other entities must also have that particular kind of strength, sitting from afar, being able to throw in a lot of constructive criticism that will shape government and policies, so that for the good of the people, you understand. But they've not. To say that we didn't lose the election, our people didn't vote. Any logical political analyst will tell you what are the reasons which accounted for your people not coming out to vote. That alone itself is a no vote. You understand? So there is no justification in some of this. And the fact is that the government spent 8 years messing up this country. They messed everything up. People became so arrogant to the extent that they were not even amenable to common reasoning, logic, and common sense. People were angry and they were rather insulting people here and there. Policies of the government at the end of the day sent this government to the abyss. Economic front. Look at all the credible rating agencies in Ghana downgrading Ghana to junk status. It got to a time we could not even go out there to borrow. The CD was out there going way wide. So these are the underpinning factors. You need to accept them and say, hey, we failed. That is the word the NPP is not willing to accept. You understand? The fact is that
people are actually saying there are people in Ghana who are missing the NPP. I think a minister said that they are calling for the NPP. Come and say
anybody by this means you're more penny and you're more now Obuchi or minor Konechi. Eti Amaya who say Ghana for Afi NPP, Ghana for a social NPP.
Is it me who is deluded? Or they who are deluded? Come on, man.
That's a grand delusion. Politics is cheap in this country. So anybody at all can just spin anything and get away with it. And that lately we have spin doctors whose job is to spin the narrative just to convince people. So anybody can just say anything. But if you get back to your analytical table as a sensible human being who understands politics and how things play out, I'm not sure you'll be making such cheap comments, because the scars that the Akuffo's bad governance left are still fresh on our conscience. Ghanaians have not forgotten about it. You understand? So if there is anything they need to do, they need to tone down, come down from the high horses, continue to try to connect with the people, how to win the goodwill. As we speak,
how to win the goodwill.
Yes, Mahama has been in power since, but still the gentleman has goodwill on his side. There are a few things that are obviously might have gone the other way, but because he still has goodwill, doing the right thing. So the opposition is not offering anything sensible. Things they are supposed to criticize, you don't see anything. Things they are not supposed to, that is what they criticize, because they think being in opposition is all about criticizing people. No, that shouldn't be the case. So for me, I think they need to regroup and maybe look at how the party structure itself as it stands now can be rebuilt or maybe restructured to have competent people in leadership position. Because the caliber of people leading the party, I don't know. Come on.
Nyaho Tamakloe had said something similar.
Yes.
That all these top executives, all of you come down. I mean, he was saying they should all even step aside, regroup, and bring a new caliber of leadership.
Yes, fresh energy. But you see, this mentality of Meba Hache, do you know when I came here, that kind of nonsense always lead the way. For me, I think this current group of leadership, come on, they need to sign out for a new group of people to take over. Maybe those people will be able to sign and build the party properly, so that going into the election, because I keep telling people that, you see, political parties are vehicles. We used to capture political power. The vehicle must be in the pole position to carry the crowd. But as you speak, the vehicle MPP is fractured. And very often, people don't even understand the enormity of the things we speak of. For instance, there is this argument of NDC MPP not being good. I'm saying, when you're making that argument, compare NDC to Kuffour's MPP. Because the Akuffo's MPP is a different thing altogether. That was a criminal entity. It's like you having a bus, and somebody comes, hey, Charlie, I want to hire your bus to go and carry some church people to Kumasi. By the time you realize the person had gone to steal goats.
Yeah.
And it's being caught by the police somewhere, and you are caught. Hey, your car is being used to transport stolen goods somewhere. The gentleman came in the name of going to take church people somewhere.
That's why I rented the bus out.
That is exactly what Akuffo has done to the NPP. The Kuffour's vehicle was hijacked by these people to destroy this country. So the NPP became a vehicle they used to destroy this country. So that comparison doesn't come in the NDC NPP. This is a typical criminal entity, and everything that they did, the fingerprints are there. And unfortunately for them, the kind of criminality that they were cooking, the people cooking were so unintelligent to the stance it was all over the place. That is why I say unintelligent criminals stealing from us. You understand? So I think they need to accept these harsh realities. See, these things are things nobody will tell you, but some of us will tell you. Even in your bedroom, we'll look you in the face and tell you. These are the harsh realities that they need to accept and begin to work around it and see, hey, let's just depart from this.
What's your reaction to sorry to cut you? President Kuffour now saying he has been sidelined.
Ghana political party, political history. You can't say UGCC, but if 47 and 69 was there, time nearly power for Ghana. 2 years, 3 months, Buzia time. Me, 69, maybe 30 years, be a member of parliament, be a founding member of Progress Party. 2 years, 3 months, Buzia, I am a deputy foreign minister. A champion 2 years, David Secretary. The two men named the Ashford prison with them 1 year, 3 months. Something that they are causing behind another detention. But I know I need to build a year. From 72 January, a champion 2 years side, the tradition. There are more power beyond that till 2001. Miami Queenum departing by power. 2 times. Ghana. Didn't see. Anyway, I then I bet you say, a young woman, a prepare woman, not be said, but when I'm your bag no me cry.
Is that a part of the whole destruction of the base? You said it's been fractured. This is like
yes. Yeah, I think it's a bit interesting in Kuffour's case. And I think the argument around this are quite diverse. Look, depending on where you take it from. Yes, because Kufuor is supposed to be a statesman. And as a statesman, when you become a statesman, you transform yourself from being a partisan instrument or a partisan element
I like
into a national instrument where you begin to see things from a very dispassionate perspective, very objective, independent-minded, and chronicle issues for the sake of public good. For the past years that Akuffo has been in government, we saw a lot of excesses, a lot of nasty stuff. Everything was going wayward, but not on a single occasion did we see President Kuffour activate his sense of nationalism, and that is a source of worry to a lot of people. You understand? Because at the time, some of us were out there talking. We are young people. We've not tasted any power, but we are so much passionate and concerned about the destructive nature the country was heading towards. But as a statesman, he didn't see anything wrong with that. And surprisingly, during the elections, he availed himself on political platform campaigning for the same entity that has been sinking this country. When you do that, people will see you as a political element, not a national person. And for me, that is where he did, that is the kind of mistake. I don't, maybe he doesn't even see it's a mistake, but for me, from a very analytical point of view, that's how I see.
He misfired.
He misfired badly. That is why in the run-up to the elections, Kufuor is not somebody people are supposed to insult, but people were all over him. You understand? And today he says he's been sidelined by the same entity he has been protecting. It's quite sad, you understand? Because you see, now the NPP is undergoing some kind of a chess play, like a chessboard. People are just pushing the numbers just to suit them. People are building political empire, lineage, just to have strength. So it's not about that wider consultation anymore. It is about who takes over the party. That is why the last time I was telling that if you look at the party, it was turning into something like a snake pit. there is a mother serpent sitting out there and the children are in the hole. Everybody is fighting for attention. You understand? Whoever that struggles to come on top will catch the eye of the mother serpent. And that's exactly what is happening. So there is no recognition for merit, that kind of value, morality. Though you must do everything to win. The Chinese principle. Everything that you can do to win, that's accepted. And that's exactly where the party found itself. Because at this time, President Kuffour should be the very person who should be ushering the party and telling them things we are saying here. But he said he's been listened to. Because you have traded your statesman position for something else. You've taken position. Because he was out there supporting Bawumia during the distance. So I don't know if you say anything, you think the other parties will take you serious. You understand? So if he's complaining,
he missed the big picture.
Yes. I think he has traded his position for something he was not supposed to, and that has landed him where he is. A lot of people have lost trust in him. The confidence is not there, and the element of respect is not there anymore. It's the reason why he sees himself being jettisoned by big element in the party, because he's supposed to be consulted. He's supposed to be engaged. If nothing at all, he's the former president, the only living one. President Kufuor has been added up, but he should have a big play in the affairs of the party. But if you are being jettisoned, it means that your influence, your aura, everything is no longer regarded. So the question is why? Because you've traded your position. Somebody like Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe, he's one of the founding fathers of the NPP. But that gentleman never lost his cool, never lost his voice on the nasty stuff going on in this country. Because he has conscience. And that is what he's supposed to do, because allegiance isn't to political party. Political parties are just vehicles used to capture political power. The ultimate destination is the country. The country you supervise is being read by.
Allegiance is to the country.
To the country, not to a party. But the country you left behind is being destroyed by certain misguided, twisted individuals in the name of having captured political power, spending family and friends enterprise, selling the country to the highest bidder, destroying everything we've built, including even the bit of sanity that has remained in this country. You sat quiet, you sat aloof, you condone everything. So if you come out today to say anything, people will bash you. So going for now that John Mahama has taken over, I'm looking at the way President Kuffour will be able to align himself and become a statesman and begin to criticize. He may have legitimate concerns because he's a former president. You can't begrudge him. He's entitled to express his opinion. But once it comes in, social media will take you on and they will remind you, 8 years, what did you say? You understand? That is why I'm saying that in politics, we need to position yourself in such a way that you don't appear a bit loose to one particular side. Lose your conscience. You may be NDC, you may be NPP. If that thing is wrong, it's wrong. If it is right, it's right. That's my policy.
Simple.
You understand? You take
end of discussion.
End of discussion. It doesn't matter. President Mahama can be my friend. If he does something and it's wrong, it is wrong.
You will let him know.
You let him know. You prompt him. There are times he may not even know, because the design of our politics is such that very often president and minister assemble around themselves bootlickers, sycophants who are there to sing hallelujah choruses. Even if you are naked, they won't tell you, because all they want is the money. But you need that independent, fair-minded individual out there who look at you in the face and say, Charlie, you are messing up. But that is the thing that is missing. That is the thing that brought the concept of chief of staff in American politics. The chief of staff is supposed to be somebody, grown, a very experienced person who can scold the president in the room and say, Charlie, stop this nonsense before you even meet your cabinet. You understand? But in recent times, how valuable
the chief of staff, somebody you can control.
You can control, but it's not supposed to be so.
Who owes you something?
Yes, because in America we call them the gatekeepers. If you keep the gate of the White House, it depends on your chief of staff. So they are supposed to wield enormous powers, but over the years they take away power from them. You understand? There has been instances ministers don't even accord the kind of respect. They think they are powerful, but the chief of staff is the next to the president. Supposed to be a very powerful person who can scold the president, tell him in his face things are wrong. You understand? So I think if we begin to unpack all these things and have a proper appreciation of what the concept of politics, power is all about, maybe we'll be in the highway and do things right.
Whoa, let's move on. You know, we've looked at this recent election. What do you foresee in Akuffo very quickly? If things do not change, they're going to go in as is. What do you foresee in Akuffo?
Akwatia election is going to take a different trend altogether because there is this incumbency advantage for the ruling NDC.
Yeah.
So in terms of victory, it may shift towards the NDC because everybody want to align itself with the ruling government just to have some a bite of the pie. So that one. But I'm scared about other stuff that may emerge. For instance, in terms of violence, it's likely because the political parties are going to fiercely contest the particular elections, and it might result in a bloodshed, confusion, that kind of stuff. So the security agencies need to design a well thought through plan and see how they can avert some of these possible calamities likely to emerge. Because I foresee that one. If care is not taken, we'll be talking about a different thing altogether. And that will be a blot on this particular government. So I think the government will have to do everything to avert any possible calamity that may emerge.
And this is my view, and me, I defer, even when I'm talking to you, I defer to people because I know that I'm articulate, but I'm not an astute political chess player. Meaning I didn't that much, you know. But so based on that, if it was left to me alone, I would say, Charlie, this election crime should. They have nothing to lose but save a lot of blood. If they say, what? Let me hear you. What difference will it make, though? Maybe I'm talking from a very inexperienced view, but
I don't know. You're talking from a very benevolent perspective, but politics is the other way around. Politics is not a game, and you cannot cede power to your opponent. It creates...
No, but the bigger picture.
Yes,
I don't think. Okay, go on.
No,
you are talking. Let me listen to you.
It's not about who leads. It's about bringing development to the doorsteps of the people.
Thank you.
It is about who can go and influence policies, if that is how it's supposed to be.
Is that how they are seeing it on the ground?
That is how it's supposed to be, but unfortunately, there is this sharp deviation, you understand? Because you need to empower somebody who can go and have your interest being advocated for at the corridors of power. So you cannot trade that in the name of in politics. You do that, you create weakness, and weakness is something that you must not be entertained in politics, because your opponent will always capitalize on such weakness, and it will come back to bite you understand? So it's something that the NDC cannot afford to say, hey, no, if you do that, your base will be very disappointed in you.
I see.
Political watchers will see you not as a serious political entity.
Weakness,
yes,
and not.
No, out of benevolence, because politics it has nothing to do with benevolence. It's about policies and programs being done right and servicing people, for instance. So if they can get somebody elected from the NDC who can go get closer to the president and advocate for whatever that they need, it will benefit the people there. You understand? The national party at the top can take that decision, but that will not benefit the people at the ground. We need to give them that particular power to decide. I know that if they decide to vote for NPP, that is their own choice. You understand? So the choice must not be taken away from them. And for me, I think the election has to be conducted.
Okay. Hey, I mean, you've made some point. I mean, in my what do you call it? Benevolent?
I think
you're using your words very nicely.
Professor Jampo also made similar thing.
Oh, really?
I know the NDC should just, but in politics it's a different thing.
It's a different thing.
Yes.
It's not time for benevolence.
No.
It's time for action and showing strength.
Yes.
Even at the risk of maybe a bloody thing.
No, you see, that is why the government has the power
to make sure.
Exactly. So if you forgo the elections with the mindset that we are vetting a possibility, you are just advertising incompetence. You are telling people that you cannot provide security. That is why you are not contesting.
Okay. I bow. I bow. Okay.
Sure.
So you make sure that you go and compete, but make sure that the law is restricted, so there's no violence.
No violence.
Crap. Just make sure that you.
Because people have concerns about this by-election.
Yes.
So if you're able to do that, it's one hurdle you've jumped, and people will give you credit for having supervised or conducted a very credible election with no violence. And I think that will also add to the political capital. Yes, so the political capital associated with this isn't about who wins. It's also providing safe zone for the elections. That will add to the president, the government credit for supervising this, despite recent history of carnage at various polling stations. So foregoing is not an option.
Not the option.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm convinced.
Yeah.
I think I'm convinced.
Yeah, you should.